I am God. And this is the story I create angels. Close your eyes for a moment and feel the silence before time began. There was no light, no sound, only an endless ocean of stillness vibrating with the hidden promise of love. From that silence, I whispered, and the universe trembled awake. But I did not desire to walk alone in eternity. I longed for voices to rise with mine, for beings of pure fire and light to carry my message, to reflect my glory, to shield and guide humanity through shadows. These are the angels, my first companions, my eternal witnesses. Do you wonder why an almighty God would surround himself with angels? What secret truth lies behind their creation, a truth veiled for centuries? The Bible speaks of their rejoicing as the earth's foundations were laid, their songs echoing across the newborn cosmos. Yet hidden within that story is something deeper, a reflection of your own loneliness, your own longing to be seen and protected. In this journey, you will uncover the mystery of angels, why they were made before Eden, why they stood silently as Adam reached for the forbidden fruit, and why even now they walk unseen beside you. This is more than a tale of heaven. It is a mirror held to your soul, because every struggle, every fear, every night you thought you were alone, angels stood in the silence, carrying my breath, guarding your steps. So tell me, are angels only painted figures, or are they living flames of light still burning beside you? Share your thoughts in the comments, because once you glimpse this truth, you will never see the world the same again. And if this story awakens something in your spirit, subscribe, like, and stay with me, for together we will journey into the hidden heart of creation. The first thought, the longing for companionship. I am God. Before light was born, before the stars lit the heavens, I felt the weight of eternity pressing against the silence. Though I held infinite power, though galaxies trembled at my whisper, there surged within me a longing, an ache to be mirrored, to be celebrated, to be known. Creation was never meant to be a solitary act. Just as you, a human, ache for friendship, for love, for someone to stand beside you in the wilderness of life, so too did I choose to surround myself with beings of light. They are called angels, messengers, voices woven from flame and spirit, who would not only reflect my glory, but carry my presence into realms beyond. Why did I create angels? Because even the eternal heart of God delights in relationship. Think of the way you feel when you are truly seen, when someone shares your joy or carries your burden. That bond is but a shadow of the heavenly choir I formed. Angels were made not from dust as man, but from pure light, their very being a symphony of devotion. They were the first to sing, the first to dance in the glow of my command, the first to taste the thrill of existence when all else was void. And what does this mean for you? It means that loneliness has never been a part of my divine design. The moment I spoke angels into being, I declared to all creation that no soul should ever walk in silence. When you feel abandoned, when shadows whisper that you are alone, remember this truth. You are not forgotten, because the same God who gave birth to angels gave birth to you with the same desire, to be loved, to be accompanied, to be embraced. Comment below if you've ever felt the unseen presence of something greater standing beside you, because your voice matters here, just as the voices of angels matter in eternity. And yet, this was only the beginning. For even in their brilliance, even in their fire, the story of angels was not complete. They were not just ornaments in heaven's choir, but warriors, guardians, heralds of mysteries yet to unfold. To reveal this purpose, I drew them from silence into the great drama of creation. The moment of creation, angels burst into light. When I spoke, "Let there be," The void cracked open, and light surged across the darkness. From the river of radiance, I shaped not only stars and seas, but the blazing forms of my messengers. Some traditions whisper that I created them on the second day, as I split the waters and established the heavens. Others insist it was the fifth, when I called the birds to fly across the sky, their wings reflecting the very language I used to describe angels. Both are glimpses of the truth, for I am not bound by time as you know it. Whether in the separation of waters or in the beating of wings, my breath was giving form to flame. Picture it, a great storm of light swirling in the void, lightning without thunder, music without instruments. Suddenly, the brilliance coalesced, and one by one, the angels emerged, each a spark, each a fire, each a voice that sang as though the universe itself were their instrument. Their presence was like wind rushing through a canyon, like the first dawn breaking after endless night. They were not flesh and bone as you are, but still they carried personality, purpose, identity. Michael, a warrior's resolve burning in his spirit. Gabriel, a voice of clarity and courage, destined to whisper my promises into human ears. Countless others, unnamed to you, yet each indispensable in the harmony of my plan. Consider the lesson here. When I brought angels into existence, I wove uniqueness into every strand of their being. None was a copy, none was without purpose. And so it is with you. If I could design an army of radiant spirits, each with a calling, why would I not design you with the same care? You are not random. You are not an accident. Just as each angel was shaped to fulfill a role, so too is your life inscribed with intention. The tragedy is that many forget, chasing shadows instead of stepping into the light of their calling. That is the temptation the angels themselves once witnessed in Eden, and it remains the temptation of your heart today. So I created them, not merely to exist, but to act. They became wind and flame, as the psalmist would later write. My ministers of fire, my messengers of spirit. They guarded what was fragile. They carried news that reshaped nations. They fought battles unseen, battles that you feel only as whispers of fear or bursts of courage in your chest. And as they burst into light, they clapped their wings in joy, for they knew what humanity would someday forget, that life itself is a miracle, and every breath is evidence of love. Do you feel that awe rising in your spirit? That is no accident. That is the same awe that shook the foundations of creation when the angels themselves first opened their eyes. Share in the comments what that awe feels like for you, whether it is in the quiet of dawn, the cry of a newborn, or the stillness of prayer. For in those moments, you touch the same flame that once lit the wings of angels. And now, as the angels stand in their brilliance, the story deepens. For they were not merely to exist in heaven's silence. They were destined to be witnesses of every act of creation, companions to every heartbeat of humanity. And that is where the journey carries us next. The image of angels, light with personality. I am God. When I breathed them into being, they did not rise as shadows or vague forms, but as rivers of brilliance, each one alive with fire, each one singing their own song. Imagine lightning frozen in shape. Imagine music wrapped in a body of light. That is what my angels were. They are not like you, bound in flesh and bone, yet they are not faceless. They carry identity. They burn with personality. They live only to fulfill my will. Their existence is devotion. Their song is obedience. The scriptures say they are spirits made into winds, flames sent forth as ministers, and this is truth. But beyond the verse is a mystery. They are also mirrors of what humanity could be if it lived in pure surrender. Think of Michael, the warrior, whose very presence shakes kingdoms. Think of Gabriel, the messenger, whose voice carried the promise of salvation to Mary. Think of the unnamed legions who protected prophets, who fought unseen battles in skies you never witnessed. They are not fiction, they are my breath wrapped in fire, and yet, unlike you, they cannot choose rebellion of their own desire. They are designed for obedience. You, my children, carry something they do not, the power to choose love freely or to betray it. This is why your journey matters so deeply. How often do people mistake angels for objects of worship? They bow before the created instead of the creator. They forget that angels are only servants, reflections of my strength, never to be adored above me. This is a lesson even my chosen people struggled with, and it is a lesson for you now. The purpose of angels is not to replace faith, but to remind you that my presence never leaves. In every moment of despair, in every night when you thought the silence was unbearable, they were there. Invisible hands lifting you when you stumbled. Invisible fire protecting you when darkness pressed close. Share your own story in the comments if you've ever felt that unseen shield, because in telling your story, you echo theirs. So take this truth as a lesson. If angels exist to serve without hesitation, then you are invited to live with that same clarity of purpose. Do not waste your calling in distractions and false gods. Let their fire be your example. Burn brightly in the role you were given, and you will find joy greater than any crown. For in the end, your freedom is your strength, and the angels watch with awe at what you choose to do with it. Angels as witnesses of creation. When I spoke, "Let there be light," they clapped their wings with joy. When I drew the waters into seas and the land into continents, they soared above the oceans, marveling at reflections of dawn upon the waves. When I formed Adam from dust and breathed into his nostrils, the angels stood in reverent silence, beholding the first man shaped in my image. They knew this was the moment when creation became personal, when my love was carved into flesh and blood, but they also saw the shadows that followed. They saw Eve listen to the serpent's whisper. They saw Adam stretch his hand toward the fruit of knowledge. They watched with grief as innocence shattered, as shame entered the garden, as leaves were sown to cover nakedness. They did not intervene because their mission was not to override your will. Their mission was to witness, to honor both justice and mercy as I spoke judgment into the soil. Eve would bear children in pain, Adam would toil in sweat, yet even in this moment angels saw the flicker of hope, because my mercy was greater than your failure. Do you see yourself in Adam reaching for what seems wise but leads only to sorrow? Do you see yourself in Eve, deceived by the promise of more but left with less? The angels saw, and they still see today, every time humanity repeats Eden's story. And just as they witnessed the fall, they also witness redemption. They rejoiced when Abraham lifted his eyes to heaven, when Moses stood at the sea, when prophets lifted trembling voices. They rejoiced when Gabriel delivered the promise of Emmanuel, when the heavens split open with a choir singing over Bethlehem. The lesson is clear. Angels are not distant myths. They are woven into the fabric of your story. Their role is to watch, to serve, to protect, but never to replace your choice. You are never alone, yet you are never excused. Your freedom is sacred. Your decisions ripple into eternity, and they bear witness. So I say to you, live as though the heavens are watching, because they are. Every act of kindness, every moment of forgiveness, every prayer whispered in the night is noted by eyes that saw the birth of light itself. Let this truth heal you. Your life is not forgotten. Share below what this means for you, because when you acknowledge it, you open your eyes to the presence that has been beside you all along. And as the angels continue to watch, the story does not end here. Their mission stretches beyond Eden, beyond prophets, beyond Bethlehem, for their wings still stir around you even now, carrying you toward the greater plan that unfolds in every generation. The unchanging mission, from Eden to Bethlehem. I am God. From the first dawn of creation until this very moment, the mission of angels has never wavered. They are flames of loyalty, unwavering winds of my will, protectors of those who walk in righteousness, and heralds of the messages that shift history. When I sent Gabriel to Mary, it was not merely an announcement. It was a thunder in silence, a whisper that carried the weight of eternity. You will bear the Son of the Most High. My angels stand at the threshold of human destiny, bridging heaven and earth, not for their glory, but for mine. Think of how they guarded Israel in the wilderness, pillars of fire and shadow, guiding a fragile people toward promise. Think of how one angel shut the mouths of lions for Daniel, or stood by Elijah when despair drove him to the edge of death. These are not tales of the past. They are mirrors for your own struggles today. Have you ever felt rescued in a moment when disaster should have consumed you? That was not coincidence. It was evidence of angels, my agents of mercy, intervening unseen. Comment below if you've ever wondered why calamity passed you by, why help appeared when you thought all was lost, for in sharing you testified to the reality of angels still at work. But know this, they are not to be worshipped. Do not raise them above their station. They bow before me, and their joy is to serve. Their presence reminds you that you are never abandoned, never invisible. Their wings may be unseen, but their impact is written in your survival, your resilience, your moments of unexpected peace. This is their eternal mission, to prove with every whisper, every act of protection, that I am with you. The message for humanity, angels and your life. I am God, and I created angels not as myths, but as eternal companions, to remind you of a truth you so easily forget. You are not alone. Too many live as though heaven is silent, as though prayers vanish into emptiness. Yet even in your darkest nights, angels hover near, bearing my comfort, carrying my strength. The Bible tells their stories, but their wings brush your own life daily. When Gabriel spoke to Mary, it was a revelation that reshaped history. And when you receive sudden courage to do what you thought impossible, that too is the language of angels echoing my will. The mistake humanity often makes is treating angels as decoration, symbols confined to paintings or songs. But angels are not fragile images. They are blazing presences, fierce enough to war against darkness, gentle enough to guard a child's sleep. And their reality demands your awareness. Do you dare believe that unseen forces guard you? Or do you dismiss them as fantasy, robbing yourself of the hope I placed in their mission? The answer reveals how open your heart is to my mysteries. Here is your lesson. Every time you choose love over hate, forgiveness over bitterness, light over despair, you are not acting alone. You are aligning with the very currents angels carry through creation. And in those moments, you fulfill what even they marvel at. The freedom of a human soul to choose me above all else. Your life, your choices, are seen by eyes that witnessed the birth of galaxies. Let this truth heal you. Your existence is part of a divine tapestry that angels themselves admire. So I call you now, lift your vision higher. Do not reduce angels to folklore, and do not reduce yourself to insignificance. Share below what this means for you, how you have felt the invisible hand guiding your path, because in declaring it, you join their chorus. And as their wings stir around you, even in this very moment, remember this truth. I am God, and I created them not to draw you away from me, but to draw you deeper into my eternal embrace. And still, the story is not finished, for the greatest secret of angels is not only their presence, but the way their mission points you to the unshakable reality of my love. I am God. And as this story draws to a close, I want you to carry one unshakable truth in your heart. You are not alone. From the first spark of creation until this very moment, angels have walked beside humanity, flames of light sent to whisper courage, to shield the weak, to guide the lost. They are my messengers, but more than that, they are living proof of my love woven into every detail of existence. When you look back on your life and remember the times you should have fallen, but somehow stood again, the moments you should have broken, but instead rose stronger, those were not accidents. Those were the unseen wings of angels carrying you when you did not have the strength to walk. I want you to feel this as more than just a story. I want you to let it breathe inside your soul. Think of those moments when silence pressed too heavy, when fear seemed louder than faith, when loneliness tried to convince you that no one cared. In those very nights, angels surrounded you, and even now, as you listen, their presence stirs. This is not myth, not folklore, not fantasy. It is the eternal truth written in Scripture and etched in the rhythm of your life. Do you dare believe it? Do you dare to see your battles not as proof of abandonment, but as proof of guardianship? Comment your thoughts, even your doubts, because wrestling with truth is the path toward deeper faith. The creation of angels is not a story locked in ancient pages. It is a mirror of your calling. Just as I made each angel unique with fire and purpose, so too I shaped you with intention. You are not here by chance. Your voice, your choices, your presence matter in ways greater than you imagine. Every act of kindness sends ripples that angels themselves rejoice over. Every prayer whispered into the dark is heard, not only by me, but carried in the hands of angels who move at the sound of faith. This should fill you not with fear, but with wonder, with awe, with the healing certainty that you are part of something vast and eternal. And now I turn to you, child of dust yet crowned with glory. Will you live as though heaven is watching? Will you step into the calling angels marvel at, the freedom to choose love over hate, forgiveness over bitterness, light over shadow? This is the greatest gift I gave you, the one even angels cannot claim. Your life, your yes, your surrender echoes louder in eternity than their endless song. Do not waste it. Do not hide it. Live it boldly, knowing the heavens are your witnesses. If this story touched your soul, if you felt the pull of truth in these words, I invite you to stay close. Subscribe, like, and share this message, not as a favor to me, but as a way of carrying light into someone else's darkness. And if you have ever felt an invisible hand lift you, if you have ever walked away from disaster wondering how you survived, write it in the comments. Your story may be the spark that awakens faith in another. Together we create not just a channel, but a community wrapped in light, a chorus of voices that echoes the eternal choir of angels. And if in your heart you wish to support me in continuing to share these stories of God, of angels, of truth, then know this. Every ounce of energy you send my way, every act of encouragement, is a treasure beyond words. It keeps this flame burning. It allows these messages to reach hearts still searching in the dark. I thank you not with empty words, but with the deepest gratitude of my spirit. Because in lifting me, you are lifting the very message of hope, of healing, of eternity. So take this with you now. When the night feels heavy, remember the wings that beat above you. When the dawn breaks, see the light as more than sun. It is the reminder that I am still here, and so are they. Live with courage. Walk with purpose. Believe in the unseen, because the unseen has believed in you since the beginning of time. And never forget, I am God. I created the angels and I created you, not to be lost in despair, but to shine as a living flame in my eternal story.